I need to take a break from working on cars. Let me show you why. If we take a walk behind the shop, you guys can see we kind of got a mess back here. Now, the first thing you'll probably notice is these tires that are absolutely destroyed. These are from when we did that massive burnout in the Civic at the track. The other two things we got on the back of the shop here is this bin that says antifreeze is actually our scrap metal bin. We got our bin for all the empty oil jugs and everything. Colton's got a set of wheels and tires back here for his RAV. And then we got all of these metal shelves just sitting here in this pool of water, along with all of these pieces of angle iron. Now, if you guys are true supporters of the channel and you guys watch the shop build videos, you would know that all of these pieces of metal sitting on the ground are actually the old shelves that used to be in the shop. That workbench right there is also the old workbench that used to be in the shop, but it has now turned into like an outdoor workbench slash storage area to keep all of that stuff kind of covered from the rain. But I am sick of staring at all of this stuff on the outside of the shop out of the back window of the house. So today we're gonna change that and we are gonna put these things to use. But before we do that, I do wanna give you guys a little bit of an update on some of the progress that we've made in the shop, because this is the kind of stuff that needs to get done so that we can work on the cars. I know you guys all wanna see just videos of us working on the cars all the time and racing the cars, but unfortunately, none of that stuff can happen if we do not have a space to work in. So here's a little update of what we've done in the shop so far. We installed a nice little 2-level shelf on the back wall of the shop, kind of on the wall perpendicular to where the toolbox ends. And then there is a little corner section that's empty right next to that shelf. In this corner, I went and picked up a little 20-gallon air compressor and we got that chilling in the corner right now. I put 2 hooks up for our step ladder and hung up a couple garden hoses and electrical cords and stuff like that back there. But that's actually not what I want to have in that corner. We also have the whole bolt bin underneath the dual shelf that we put up on this wall. Now, the reason I don't want the air compressor in that corner is because I want to put it up in the mezzanine and I just want to have a hose reel down here so we can maybe isolate that air compressor up top so it doesn't make so much noise. And then we have a hose reel that we can just pull right off the wall in that corner when working on stuff. Colton is also in the shop right now working on his Evo. This is another big reason I want to get started on a lot of the shop build stuff, because I want to get this place in a state where it's ready to work so that we can get to work on this Evo and get the engine out of this thing. I really want to start the build series on this car, but we just have literally not had time to get to it, but we are slowly getting there. Now let's hop up in the mezzanine and I will show you guys what I want to do with these shelves. This lift in the shop takes you right up above the entire shop to the mezzanine. Now, it is really terrible lighting up here, but this mezzanine is essentially the entire storage for the shop because this shop is only like 21 feet deep. So there isn't really much storage end to end in the shop. We kind of need to maximize all that space for working on the cars and having the cars and the bikes and all that. So up here, you guys can see right now is just a freaking mess. There is stuff thrown all over the place. We basically just piled stuff up in here and there's no organization to it whatsoever. So the idea is I want to build a shelf that basically goes along that back wall possibly, and then all the way along this whole wall right to the end. Now this might look a lot bigger than it actually is on camera, but from the floor of this mezzanine all the way up to the top is only about 4 feet. So we're gonna be cutting that angle iron that's outside into 2-foot sections. And then this back wall is essentially gonna be split in half. So you can stack stuff on top and on the bottom so that it looks slightly more organized than just stuff piled up all over the place. So if I actually take the tape measure and measure this out, it's about 4.3 inches or feet. So 4 feet, 3 inches to the ceiling. So I want the shelves to be about, I said 2-foot sections, but now that it's 4 foot 3 inches, I think we're gonna be better off to have the shelf at about 2 feet 7 inches. So I might cut the angle iron at 2.5 feet and then the extra 2 inches will be made up by the shelf. I'll have to do some measurements out there just to make sure that the shelf is like 2 inches thick. And then I'll just cut all the angle iron pieces the same length. So since our shop from end to end is about 21 feet, I'm gonna take a little measurement of these guys and see if we're gonna have enough to go from end to end. They are just about 3 feet long. So we got 3, 6, 9, 12 just in this pile right here. Then in this pile, we got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 feet. But I do want to leave some space for the compressor on the end. So taking a measurement from the wall to the toolbox, we got about 2 feet 4 inches. If we did 2 feet on the dot, we would still clear the compressor from the wall. So since we only got to leave about 2 feet at the end of the wall, we're going to do 3 feet just to make it safe and leave a little bit of extra just open space at the end of the mezzanine. So that's going to bring it down to 18 feet. So that means we need 6 of these sheets to make up 18 feet in the mezzanine. So just to keep it matching, these sheets over here are solid sheets. These sheets over here are 2 sheets bolted together with cross braces, and these are all the same width at 23.5 inches. We are going to use 6 of the dual sheeted shelves, which I think will be a little bit more sturdy considering they have the braces in the middle right here. The only downside to these sheets is they're all rusty and don't look good. And the backside of them is all covered in grease. So before we even get started wire wheeling these things down and prepping them out, I need to get all of these pressure washed off, and then we can wire wheel them and get them prepped for paint. All right, boys, many hours later of wire wheeling and prepping and cleaning all the oil that was on these shelves off and everything. We got 3 of them painted completely matte black. The 4th one I had to finish off with some gloss black just because I ran out of paint. I got 3 pieces of angle iron here cut to 2 feet and 7.5 inches. Those are just painted gloss black because I'm out of matte black, and I don't really care if the braces are painted the same as the shelves. You're not gonna notice. It's all gonna be up there, so it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to do this as cheap as possible. I got 3 more pieces of angle iron hanging right here. Then we got more angle iron to cut on the floor. We got 2 more shelves that we need to wire wheel and paint once I pick up some more matte black paint. Then another thing that I didn't mention that we did in the shop is I put up the good old something cool flag right above our workbench, which I think looks really, really good. I also mounted this super bright LED light up here, which makes the workbench really, really bright, which is awesome. But eventually I am gonna put a couple of cabinets up above here. I can fit 2 lengthwise, nice and narrow ones. Can put all the cans like WD-40, all that stuff all up there. And then the something cool flag will go up on the wall over there somewhere. So as you guys saw on the time lapse, it gets dark really fast when you're doing a lot of work. It actually doesn't get dark till like 11 o'clock at night. So the camera wasn't really picking up the change in light very well. It got dark really, really fast on the camera, but it was bright out until about 11:30. Then I came inside the shop, started cutting the angle iron and painting everything and letting it dry and then painting more. And it is now 1:15 in the morning and I gotta work at 7 tomorrow. So that's it for me tonight, but that's not it for the video. I'm gonna pick back up on this. We're gonna get all these angle iron pieces cut and we are gonna start ripping everything out of the mezzanine tomorrow and getting these shelves mounted up, hopefully. This stuff takes a long time when you're learning, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow or in 2 seconds. No more painting. Oh, there goes my AirPod. I've had this mask on for way too long and I'm done painting for now. We got all the shelves painted matte black. We got all of the 2 foot and 7.5 inch angle iron pieces painted gloss black. I got 12 angle iron pieces. So hopefully that's enough to build the supports all the way along the wall. I didn't actually measure it out, I'm just guessing. I'm gonna have to drill new holes in the angle iron to actually mount the shelves so they're all level because the angle iron isn't all cut perfectly. I don't have an actual metal cutting saw. As you guys saw, I just used a grinder on 2 jack stands and made it work. So I'm gonna move the Honda. We're gonna get Colton's Evo pushed out. We are gonna slowly get everything taken out of the mezzanine and onto the shop floor. And then we can start working in the mezzanine, building these shelves. Hopefully we can get these things up tonight. Let's move the truck first. Are we gonna hit the pole? We're gonna hit pole. We cleared it. Man, we're getting close to the camera here. Just think about living in the city. Everything is so tight together. There's no space. Now this is gonna be a cold start for the boys. I'm actually not even confident this thing's gonna start. It's been sitting since we got off the dyno, which was like a week and a half ago. Oh, come on. Get you guys the real sound effect here. We really gotta dial in the cold starts on this thing. That is crazy how bad that is. We gotta pull this off slow because the exhaust cutout's pretty low. Now we gotta push this half torn apart Evo out. Colton already started working on this thing. I told him he didn't have to wait for me, but eventually this car is probably gonna be nicer than my STI. Oh my God. Okay, now we're downhill. Oh no, 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 no. Look at how much space there is in this shop without this Evo in here. It's crazy. I'm actually gonna push my bike out too, just to make a little bit more space. So much room for activities. All right, now that we got that all cleared out, it is actually crazy to see how far we've actually come with this shop just by clearing out this section and rearranging this whole section under the mezzanine. I think it's turned out and fits everything really good so far with the workbench and the shelf and the toolbox and the other shelf that we built on that one side with the whole bolt bin and everything under there. We might rearrange some of it. That air compressor is definitely gonna go up top so we can store the pressure washer and everything in that back corner. And it's funny we're doing this because I don't know if I'm gonna have time this summer before the Evo build, but eventually I do wanna paint all the walls in this shop like a light gray, almost a white tinge. And when we go to do that, there is going to be a lot of stuff that has to come apart, including these shelves that I'm putting up right now. But in the meantime, until then, I really want shelves up there. So we're gonna build them, and then when we go to paint the shop, we're gonna take them back down. Sorry your Evo's outside, Colton. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Holy, that was a lot of work, but we're making progress. We have absolutely everything that was up in the mezzanine all out on the shop floor now. There is crap everywhere, and we got the whole mezzanine cleared out. Another thing I did was I took the air compressor from that corner and put it up top in the mezzanine. And it is a perfect fit. I bought that air compressor specifically to fit in the mezzanine. That's why I bought a smaller one. I might have to get a bigger horizontal one eventually, but it'll work for now. Then in this corner, there was already holes drilled for the previous compressor that was up there. So I ran the air line down. It's just sitting on a hook right now. I don't have a hose reel or anything like that. So I just mounted a hook there. And then the power cord comes down in that back corner over there. And I just need to run an extension cord to this little plug-in right here because the previous compressor must have been a 120 volt compressor because the guy has like a welding 120 volt outlet right there, which my cord would reach perfectly, but this Mastercraft 26 gallon compressor is just a regular outlet. So we'll run an extension cord to there. We'll just run the cord up along this shelf and then secure it along that board up there with some zip ties that have the little screw hole in them. Just like this. If you guys have never seen these, for running wires and stuff in houses and shops, these things are awesome. I will link them in the description. Hopping up in the mezzanine now, I will show you guys what we got going on here and what the idea is. So I got the air compressor in this back corner. Like I told you guys when we were down on the bottom, the airline just runs through that little hole there. And then the electrical cord, you can't even see, it's tucked behind there. But that compressor is essentially tucked in the back corner over there. And eventually I'm gonna put some padding underneath it and then maybe build like a box around it to keep it nice and quiet so that we don't hear it in the videos. Then right where this is sitting is where these shelves are gonna end. Like we said at the beginning of the video when we measured that out, I can't remember how many feet it was total, like 18 feet I think to the end there with all of these put together, and they will run right to the end. So now the first thing that we need to do here is get that corner mounted. It's gonna sit above the window, nice and high about here. And then that shelf is gonna go all the way to the end right there. So I am gonna start by putting one of these pieces right in that corner We're gonna get one of the shelves bolted right down to it, and then we're gonna work our way out. Another thing that sucks is this mezzanine is only, like I said, 4 feet and 3 inches tall. So I'm kind of working on my knees here the entire time. My back might be a little sore by the end of this, but it'll be worth it in the end. Let's see what we can figure out to get these shelves mounted up. Look at how freaking good this is starting to look already, and it's still got one more shelf to put up. It is now a couple days later. I had a family reunion kind of camping trip over the weekend. So it's Sunday, late at night now, but I'm back at getting these shelves built, which is actually kind of hard. I don't know if you guys ever do this after a weekend of just having time off, like camping, or Friday I had a golf tournament, and after a weekend of just like kind of relaxing or partying and drinking or doing whatever, just taking time off, working on anything, I always find it hard to get back into the swing of things and like get the motivation to get back to work, I guess. Like at a 9-to-5 job, it's just like, obviously you gotta go to work on Monday, but like working on your own stuff, I always find it hard to get back at it. And I feel like that's okay, but once I get going, then I'm going. Let me know in the comments, you guys feel the same? Might just be me, but I doubt it. I bet some of you guys in the comments feel that way. I just want you to know that's normal. And it takes discipline to keep going. When you have a goal in your head and you wanna achieve that goal, that's what makes you get back at it. So we're getting back at it because my goal is to have these shelves finished so we can get this whole frickin' mess cleaned up so we can get to work on Colton's Evo and I can fix my Honda so I can start driving it again. Now I ran out of angle iron pieces for supports. I cut 6 of them. I needed 8. So I haven't put one of the shelves up yet. I just laid paint down on these ones right here. So those are drying. And then once those are dry, we can get them up. And that should be the last of the angle iron pieces we need for these shelves. But this is a eye view from up top on how these shelves are looking. So by the time we get this shelf up, you guys can see the amount of space that's there for the air compressor. But if you hop over and look at these shelves, you can see that I did get them all pretty level. The back angle iron pieces are screwed directly into the wall. Not the strongest thing in the world. I didn't actually screw them into the studs on the back, but that's why we got these outer braces. Being 4 feet up here, I'm not gonna lift anything excessively heavy up onto these, so I don't really have to worry about putting any steel pads or extra wood pads or anything underneath those. I don't think these angle iron pieces are gonna go through this plywood. There is bolts securing the middle of each of these to each other, 2 in the middle on each shelf. That's how I'm only using 1 angle iron piece here. Now the only downside to this whole design and how I built these is there is no cross supports on the bottom to each angle iron piece. And I did that strictly just because if I have long pieces or totes or anything that are gonna be wider than just the distance between each shelf, since they're all joined together, I can still slide it through the middle. There's not any angle piece here to stop it from sliding through, but realistically, nothing's really ever coming up here. So for now, I don't see the need to have to put a brace on there yet because the stuff that comes up here is gonna be up here. And once there's weight on this, these aren't really gonna move much because they are bolted from the front here and they're bolted from the side, pinching the 2 shelves together as well. So I'm gonna give this whole mezzanine one more sweep with the broom to get it all nice and clean. And then we are gonna slowly tackle bringing all of this mess back up here and getting that last shelf put up with the 2 angle iron pieces. Just like that, we got everything brought back up to the mezzanine. Pretty much, there's still a couple of things down there like the bikes and scooters, Colton's subs, and the set of coilovers that I got for the Honda. But other than that, everything is up here. The only thing I don't like is that corner is still kind of a mess. I want that to be nice and clear so I can get at everything up there pretty easy. So I might be moving those totes onto these shelves and then moving some of like my Christmas decorations and stuff like that up there since I only grab that stuff once a year. And there's some car parts in there like stock Subaru parts, stock Honda parts, some miscellaneous stuff in there that I'll go and grab when we're working on the cars. And I would rather have that over here. And then for the one time a year that we need to pull out a Christmas tree, I can crawl up there and get it. But I got those last 2 pieces of angle iron finished up for this shelf. Got this one put up, so it comes all the way to the end. There's a slight little gap there, and then the air compressor. It's hard to see because I got these lights set up right now, but this is a lot nicer than it was before because now we actually have like all the sports stuff, like golf clubs, hockey gear, baseball gear, all that stuff kind of in one section. Then we got all the camping stuff, the coolers, the tent, all that, the chairs in one section. And then we got basically 3 rows of tires there. So we're trying to make a lot of stuff fit in a very small space. And I know I say small, it's not that small. This shop is like 21 by 30, I think. But I don't have an outdoor storage shed, so that's why everything is in here. I need to build an outdoor storage shed, and then some of this stuff can go outside. Because some of it's okay to be outside in the winter. And for those of you that comment on these videos sometimes and say, we don't care about the shop build videos, we just want to see the car videos. These videos are for me because I want to kind of document my progress on this shop build so I can rewatch this one day and kind of see me learning throughout the process because I haven't done a lot of this stuff. And I'm glad I didn't put any angle iron supports in between because those tires slightly overlap the sections, just like I said that I thought they would. I'm actually really, really happy with how this turned out. It makes the mezzanine look a lot more organized. I don't think it actually created that much more space. Might have created a little bit, but it just looks better. It is super hard to tell and dark up top there on camera, but it definitely looks a lot more organized up there. And I'm glad I did the shelves black because you can't really see them. Eventually, once we paint this shop white, all the wood in this shop is gonna be white on the walls or like a light gray. It'll definitely be more noticeable up there, but that is freaking progress, boys. Super happy with how that came out. But now that we got space in the shop again, I gotta get to work on replacing the turbo to manifold gasket on the Honda so I can get that thing running, do a couple of street hits on it, and I'm gonna move my AFR sensor to a better spot. For those of you that watch the dyno video, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's lots to do. I'm tired. It's another late night again doing this stuff. Freaking 2:45 in the morning and I work at 7. So we gotta be up at 6. That's 3 hours. Peace out, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys watch this video, that means you're a true OG to the channel. If you guys really want to support the channel, I did just launch channel memberships as well. You guys can go through that, read some of the details if you're interested. And if you guys are avid supporters of something cool, I would highly suggest the top membership. It does include 20% off absolutely anything on the Something Cool website, which will pay for itself very, very fast. So if you guys are an OG and you guys watch all the videos because you're still here at the end of this video, drop a comment, say hi. I promise I will respond to you guys. Peace out, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.